So this is how I got my answers. If you take a look at A, we're going to need to determine the transition rule we can use. So we're in state 1. And if you take a look at the tape, you're on the X all the way to the right, which is an empty space, and you want to keep that space empty. So by using that and the state that we're in, we can determine that we can use 1x and transition to 3x and move left. So that's going to give us our answer for B as well. And that is we're writing another X or an empty space. And that gives us C. Also, using the transition rule, we're moving to the left, which is good because we do want to be replacing those filled spots to the left. So D, your tape is going to say XBAX again, except this time the tape has moved to the left, so the A is highlighted. So then you can take a look at E, and in order to determine the state, you're going to need to use the transition rule we just used to determine what state we transition to, and that would be 3. And if you take a look at where the tape would be, we would be on A. So we want to change that A to an X or an empty space. So using all of that information for F, we can determine the transition rule. And that transition rule is going to be the 3A because we want to change that A, and it's going to transition to 7XL. So that's going to tell us the answer for G and H as well. So G, you're going to be filling in another X as seen here. And for H, you're going to be moving to the left. So I will show XB, XX, but this time the B is highlighted because that is where the tape is located. So then we're going to take a jump all the way to J and see what state we're in here. So you have to use the transition rule previously used, which shows us that we transition to state 0. So the answer for J is 0. And if you take a look at the tape, the B is highlighted. So if we take a look at the transition rules in state 0, we can see that we are able to use 0B, and that transitions to 2XR. So that gives us our answers for L. We're writing another X where that B is. And M, we are transitioning to the right. So there will be an R there. And then what your tape is going to say is XXXX, or all empty spaces. And that third X is going to be highlighted because that is where the tape has shifted. And you can check that the transition rule was correct by looking at the next state that you're in. And that state is 2. So then you can double check that your state was correct using the transition rule you just used and see which transition or which state you transitioned to, which was 2. So you can double check your answer in that way.